The sentence, "In the vast expanse of the cosmos, Earth had always been a solitary blue marble, its inhabitants unaware of the complex tapestry of civilizations that spanned the galaxy." That changed on October 17, 2047, when the first confirmed contact with extraterrestrial intelligence occurred. The massive ship that appeared in Earth's orbit carried representatives from what they called the Galactic Alliance, a coalition of over 300 sentient species, united by common principles and mutual protection. Dr. Arjun Mehta, leading Earth's hastily assembled first contact team, remembered the mixture of awe and trepidation he felt when the Alliance delegation materialized in the United Nations Assembly Hall. The aliens, ranging from humanoid to utterly bizarre in appearance, spoke perfect English through their translation devices. They explained that their long-range sensors had detected unusual energy signatures from Earth, indicating that humans had reached the technological threshold that typically preceded faster-than-light travel. "We come to welcome you," the lead representative, a tall, elegant being called Zelnar, had said, "but also to evaluate." What followed was 2 years of cultural exchange, scientific collaboration, and quiet observation. Humans shared their history, art, philosophy, and technology. The Alliance shared carefully selected knowledge about galactic civilization, avoiding anything that might accelerate humanity's development too quickly. It seemed like the beginning of a promising partnership, until the summons came. The Galactic Tribunal, the judicial authority of the Alliance, called for a formal hearing on the Earth question. Before a panel of 9 judges from different species, evidence was presented that humans possessed a dangerous combination of traits: remarkable adaptability, aggressive competitive instincts, rapid technological advancement, and what the Alliance termed cognitive dissonance, the ability to simultaneously hold contradicting beliefs. "This species displays patterns similar to the Kryn," stated Prosecutor Voss, a gelatinous being whose surface rippled with colors. "Like them, humans advance through conflict rather than harmony. They unite only when faced with common threats, then fragment once those threats are eliminated." Arjun and his team presented passionate defenses of humanity, showcasing its art, its capacity for compassion, its scientific achievements born from curiosity rather than aggression. They highlighted Earth's diversity of cultures and beliefs as a strength, not a weakness. The deliberation lasted 3 Earth months. When the tribunal reconvened, Chief Justice Elmira, an ancient being with crystalline features, delivered the verdict: humanity represents a potential destabilizing force in the galactic community. While extermination is unwarranted, isolation is prudent. Earth will be encased in a temporal spatial barrier until such time as humanity evolves beyond its current paradigm or becomes extinct through its own actions. The sentence sent shockwaves through human governments. Protests erupted worldwide, ranging from peaceful demonstrations to violent riots. Religious leaders proclaimed the end times. Scientists frantically studied the little information they had about Alliance technology, and military forces worldwide were placed on high alert. None of it mattered. Exactly 1 week after the verdict, a fleet of Alliance ships surrounded Earth and deployed a network of satellites at precise coordinates in orbit. When activated, they generated a shimmering, transparent dome that encompassed the planet and extended to just beyond the Moon's orbit. Earth was cut off from the stars. Initial tests confirmed the nature of the barrier. Physical objects could not penetrate it. Radio signals and electromagnetic radiation were absorbed. Even light from beyond was filtered and distorted. Earth could see out, dimly, but was otherwise completely isolated. For the first year, chaos reigned. Global economies collapsed as space-based industries became impossible. Nations blamed each other. Resource wars seemed imminent. It was humanity's darkest hour. From this darkness emerged Commander Elena Chen of the United Earth Space Agency. Born in Singapore and educated at MIT and Beijing University, she had been training astronauts when first contact occurred. Now, she stood before the emergency session of the United Nations, her expression resolute. "We have two choices," she declared, her voice steady despite the gravity of the situation. "We can turn on each other and prove the tribunal correct, or we can prove them wrong by uniting as never before. This barrier is not a prison. It's a challenge." Her proposal was audacious. Project Phoenix, a complete reorganization of human civilization, with the dual goals of survival within their limited space and developing technology that could eventually overcome the barrier. "The Alliance thinks we'll destroy ourselves or stagnate," she concluded. "Let's show them what humans do best: adapt and overcome." Against all odds, her vision gained traction. Former rival nations pooled their resources. Scientists shared previously guarded secrets. The Moon, still accessible within the barrier, became the site of humanity's largest collaborative project, a staging ground for research into the barrier's properties. 5 years into isolation, breakthroughs began to emerge. Dr. Lena Okafor, a Nigerian physicist, discovered that certain quantum frequencies could resonate with the barrier, creating minute fluctuations, though not enough to break through. It proved the barrier wasn't impenetrable. Meanwhile, on Earth, society transformed. With space limited and resources finite, sustainability became paramount. Vertical farming replaced traditional agriculture. Fusion power, accelerated by shared global research, began to replace fossil fuels. Population growth stabilized as cultures united around the common goal of survival and eventual freedom. Commander Chen, now director of the Global Space Initiative, watched from the lunar observatory as the Earth below grew more unified, more purposeful. "They wanted to contain us," she told her deputy, Dr. Kazuo Tanaka. "Instead, they gave us focus." By the 10th year of isolation, Project Phoenix had evolved from a survival initiative to an ambitious plan to breach the barrier. The key insight came from an unexpected source: 16-year-old Sophia Adeyemi, a student in Lagos who proposed that the barrier might respond differently to consciousness than to physical matter or energy. Her theory, initially dismissed, gained credibility when experiments showed quantum entanglement remained possible across the barrier, suggesting that certain fundamental aspects of reality weren't constrained by the Alliance's technology. As the first decade of Earth's isolation neared its end, humanity stood united and transformed. The sentence that was meant to contain them had instead catalyzed their evolution. And now, with the breakthrough of quantum consciousness interface technology, they prepared to reach out to the stars once more, not with ships or signals, but with their minds. The Galactic Tribunal had sentenced Earth to isolation. Humanity's response was about to shock the cosmos. Part 2. The Revelation. 10 years into Earth's isolation, the blue planet had become nearly unrecognizable to those who remembered the pre-contact world. Where once stood competing nations, now existed the United Earth Confederation. Where pollution had choked cities and oceans, now thrived restored ecosystems and clean energy grids. The transformation wasn't merely technological but cultural. The common challenge had forged a new human identity, one that balanced individual freedom with collective responsibility. On the dark side of the Moon, the Phoenix Array stretched across the dataless crater, a massive installation of quantum resonators designed to amplify consciousness-driven signals. At its heart stood the Nexus Chamber, where today, Ambassador Kiran Shah prepared for humanity's boldest gambit. "Neural interface stable," reported Dr. Sophia Adeyemi, now 26, and the lead scientist of the breakthrough technology. "Quantum entanglement protocols synchronized. We're ready, Ambassador." Kiran nodded, his dark eyes reflecting the blue light of the chamber. A former diplomat who had lost his family during the chaos of the first isolation year, he had volunteered to be humanity's voice. The neural implants along his spine glowed faintly beneath his skin as he settled into the resonance chair. "Remember," Director Chen cautioned, "we don't know how the Alliance will react. Your mission is to request a review of our sentence, not to antagonize." "I understand," Kiran replied, "but I will show them the truth of what we've become." The chamber hummed as power flowed through the array. Kieran closed his eyes as his consciousness expanded, riding the quantum frequencies that Sophia had discovered could permeate the barrier. His mind stretched outward, beyond the moon, through the shimmering wall that had contained humanity, and into the void beyond. Unknown to Earth, the Galactic Alliance had maintained observation posts just outside the barrier. For 10 years, they had watched and recorded, expecting to see humanity tear itself apart or regress to pre-industrial conditions as resources dwindled. Instead, they had witnessed an unprecedented transformation. Alliance observer Taylor, a member of the azure-skinned Lyran species, was the first to detect the quantum consciousness signal emanating from within the barrier. At first, she dismissed it as an instrument malfunction. No isolated species had ever developed quantum consciousness technology without external guidance. When the signal organized into coherent patterns, she activated the emergency protocol. Within hours, the highest levels of the Alliance government were aware that humanity had achieved the impossible. Within days, an emergency session of the tribunal was convened. Kieran's consciousness encountered Tella's monitoring station first. The alien's shock resonated across the quantum connection, creating a feedback loop that allowed rudimentary communication. "I am Ambassador Kieran Shaw of United Earth," his projected thoughts conveyed. "We request a review of our isolation sentence based on new evidence of humanity's evolution." The request, unprecedented in Alliance history, created turmoil within the tribunal chambers. Some judges argued for strengthening the barrier, fearing that humanity's unexpected development represented exactly the kind of threat they had sought to contain. Others, intrigued by the achievement, advocated for direct observation. Chief Justice Elmara, who had delivered the original sentence, cast the deciding vote. "We will hear this appeal. Prepare a secure communication chamber for direct interface with the human consciousness." When Kieran's mind made contact with the assembled tribunal, he didn't waste time with words. Instead, he shared experiences, the collective memories of Earth's transformation. The judges witnessed the initial chaos after isolation, then the turning point as humanity united. They experienced the accelerated scientific advancements, driven not by competition but collaboration. Most importantly, they felt the shift in human consciousness, the development of a collective identity that preserved individuality while transcending the tribalism that had concerned the Alliance. "We have not overcome our nature," Kieran communicated. "We have embraced it and directed it toward growth rather than destruction. Our adaptability, which you feared, has allowed us to thrive within your constraints. Our competitiveness has been channeled into overcoming challenges rather than each other." The evidence was compelling, but the tribunal remained cautious. "Show us," demanded Justice Voss, "how humanity would behave if released from isolation. Would you seek vengeance for your containment?" In response, Kieran shared the most surprising development of the isolation decade: the gift protocol. Humanity's plans upon re-entering galactic society included the free sharing of their unique innovations, sustainable ecosystem management, consciousness-integrated technology, and cultural reconciliation methodologies. "We offer these freely," Kieran explained, "because isolation taught us that knowledge increases in value when shared, not when hoarded. We don't seek to dominate the galaxy. We seek to contribute to it." The tribunal withdrew for deliberation, leaving Kieran's consciousness suspended in the communication chamber. Hours passed in subjective time as he maintained the quantum connection, the strain beginning to tell on his physical body back in the Nexus chamber. Finally, Chief Justice Elmara returned. "The tribunal has reached a decision. The isolation sentence is suspended, pending a probationary period of 5 Earth years, during which limited contact will be permitted under supervision." Kieran felt both elation and concern. "The barrier will be lifted." "Partially," Elmara clarified. "A delegation from Earth will be permitted to exit through a controlled portal. Similarly, Alliance representatives will be allowed to visit Earth. After the probationary period, full integration will be considered." It wasn't complete freedom, but it was the beginning of a new chapter. As Kiran's consciousness prepared to withdraw from the quantum connection, Elmira added something unexpected. Ambassador Shah, the tribunal acknowledges that our original assessment of humanity was incomplete. Your species' response to isolation was unprecedented in our records. This raises the possibility that other species we have similarly judged may deserve reconsideration. The implications were profound. Humanity's example might change the Alliance's approach to emerging civilizations throughout the galaxy. When Kiran's consciousness returned to his body in the Nexus chamber, he opened his eyes to the anxious faces of the Phoenix team. They've agreed to partial lifting of the barrier, he announced, his voice hoarse from disuse. We're going back to the stars. The cheers that erupted were broadcast globally, triggering celebrations across Earth. But Director Chen, ever pragmatic, quickly organized a planning committee for the first delegation to exit the barrier. 3 months later, as the Alliance portal opened in Earth orbit, 7 representatives of humanity prepared to step through. Ambassador Shah led them, accompanied by Director Chen, Dr. Adeyemi, and 4 others chosen to represent Earth's diversity of expertise and culture. As they crossed the threshold, they became the first humans to leave Earth's vicinity in over a decade. Waiting for them was a reception of Alliance officials, including Chief Justice Elmira herself. "Welcome to the galaxy, humanity," she said, her crystalline features catching the light of distant stars. "We misjudged you. Your response to isolation has given our civilization much to consider." Director Chen stepped forward. Isolation was meant to be our punishment. Instead, it became our catalyst. We thank you for the challenge that helped us discover who we truly are. And so began humanity's reintegration into the galactic community, not as the dangerous species that had been contained, but as innovators who had turned adversity into advancement. The sentence that was meant to protect the galaxy from humanity instead revealed humanity's greatest gift to the stars: the capacity to transform through adversity, to unite in isolation, and to emerge stronger from the very challenges meant to diminish them. As the Earth delegation toured the Alliance flagship, glimpsing the wonders of galactic civilization for the first time, Director Chen whispered to Kiran, "They thought they were containing a threat. They didn't realize they were incubating a revolution." The Galactic Tribunal had sentenced Earth to isolation. Humanity had shocked them by becoming exactly what the galaxy needed.